house isn't on fire already. You're just racist, okay? Shut up. Hey guys, how's it going? Are you in the mood for a collection update? Because that's all I got. Thank you for your continued subscribership and patronage to the Brainsmasher network. You're locked in. Let's do this. Sorry about my last video. I fucked it up. I deleted it or something. I got a new SD card. Things should be going a little bit more smooth. I finally got some time to look into the settings of this magical image capture device, and I think I got my focus figured out as well. Next problem is that all these walls are yellow. That was what my partner wanted before I moved in with her. It reflects a lot of yellow light behind me, but you'll live. We're growing slowly every day, getting better and better, right? I think I also changed some sound settings so it sounds a little bit better. So you can hear the fucking churning, gurgling, gut-punching sounds, riffs, beats, gurgles of... I'm going to be playing this a lot. The Glorious Dead. Oh, they're so glorious. Fantastic album artwork by Nate Burns. He is available to do your drawings if you need him. This is up for pre-order from Bind Rune Recordings, and I don't just love it because I love Marty right there. I love it because it fucking bashes and it crushes and it steamrolls. But a lot of albums do that. A lot of death metal records these days have a lot of journey, chunky, guttural, slow stuff that's brutal. But man, there's an element, there's a next level of musicality, depth, darkness to the whole thing that I don't know, it's like, it's just giving me more. It's got an insert with it, and the thing is, with all Bind Rune titles now, you get a CD copy of it, which we're jamming, and an LP copy of it, all in one fell swoop. You even get a Bandcamp download of the thing, and this thing's only 19 bucks. I have a feeling once the hype catches on about this release, you're gonna be wanting to pick one up, so check it out, it rules. Another way that this is, I don't know, cool, is that you can bundle it with the other current Bind Rune Recordings release, Eve, Phantoms Made Permanent. This is not really of the same ilk as The Glorious Dead, but fantastic northeastern atmospheric black metal, which is the usual Bind Rune Recordings fare. Good stuff. I haven't really given this as much of a spin as I wish I had the time to do. I'm working 60-hour weeks non-stop. I'm having 2 days off a month. Work has just been kind of nightmarish, and then with COVID making it pretty fucking unbearable, but also having no power in my house for 4 days was a fucking challenge. But it didn't stop me from, you know, buying a bunch of records. So let's get into some. First off, so I've kind of got like a handful of albums that I constantly champion. I'm always trying to get you guys to listen to some of my just like nearest and dearest things that aren't really, like, no one else is picking up the slack on these releases but me, I feel like. Can you see the ice cream on my shirt there? Yeah, I think you can. Cool. You know, I'm bringing the real to YouTube. Anyways, this is something I didn't expect to find pop up used, but this is the debut demo release. Look at that autofocus. Man, we are moving up in the YouTube world. Finland's Reata. You can get this on compact disc, of course, and I believe maybe LP. You should think about picking up a copy of that. This is the debut demo. It actually came out on a label called Budget Funeral Records. But if you aren't comfortable listening to the music of Burzum, but you kind of wish you could or would or were or whatever, this is a really fine substitute for early Burzum work. This stuff is awesome. I've played this in one or two of my videos, I believe, and had people just go, whoa, that was really fucking good. So here's your chance. I'm bringing it back up to the foray again. Check it out. Come on. Is that how you do it? I think no closer than like right here. Yeah, that's about it. So Rayata, it's so fucking good. You will thank me if you pick up a copy of it on Discogs. I actually, when I saw that pop up in the secret source that I'm not going to share with you, they wanted $10 for it, I think. And I thought, holy shit, they don't know how rare this is. Actually went to look it up on Discogs and there was someone else selling it for about $12. I was like, oh, big deal. See, like, they slow down sometimes and just... Digging it. So I've got like a kind of a mediocre pile here. It's like, I've been all over the place with my listening lately. Metal's kind of like touch and go. Like, I'll listen to it, but it's not like doing the usual, like, yes! Until this Glorious Dead popped up. So some of this stuff I may not seem like as emphatic about as I am with a lot of other stuff that I'm getting in. Or maybe I'm just feeling like more hypercritical of the stuff for no reason at all. I don't know. I'm just going through a phase. I don't know. But I don't know. Where do we start? There's just so much. Let's go from the brilliance of Rayapta to Holder. This is called, you know what? I usually like to bullshit fake pronounce stuff, but I'm not even gonna do this. This is a one-woman black metal project out of Portland, Oregon. But I believe she immigrated here for whatever reason from the Netherlands, I believe. And I've been seeing a lot of hype about this stuff. Iron Bonehead put this out. It's a compendium of a couple of demos and a telltale thing that describes its style best is that there's a cover of Into Crypts of Rays by Celtic Frost. And so that is kind of the leaping off point in the same way that a lot of other second wave European black metal bands are. But I just wasn't feeling this. For whatever reason, I honestly, I haven't really been listening to this kind of stuff lately. So, I mean, there's one thing for you, but I don't know. I just didn't think it lived up to the hype. It seems just like everybody and their mother, even like your knuckle dragging death metal guys were like, yeah, there's this one black metal album that I've been listening to, and it's that Holder. So I thought, like, man, I'll just fucking drop on it without even checking it out first. And I don't know. It was just kind of mediocre. The riffs weren't really there for me. So for something completely better, in one of the streams a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about Bluthaus Nord. I consider myself kind of a Fairweather Bluthaus Nord fan. I've got, and like Fairweather, I have like 6 of their releases. So, I was just thinking, like, you know what? I need to get more familiar with that band. A lot of that stuff is just has so much depth to it, you know? Bluthaus Nord is just an act, completely unique, all its own, just fascinating. And I realized Marty reminded me that I've never heard the Mystical Beast of Rebellion. So I picked it up. I just went. The cover art fucking blows on this thing anyway, so you don't need to worry about it. That's one thing about fucking Bloodhouse Nord, man. There's like shitty reissues with different artwork, and they just, even though the sound and the style of Bloodhouse Nord is iconic, there are no like album covers per se that you think of when you think of Bloodhouse Nord. They're just like these forgettable, kind of wishy-washy, whatever, anomalous, amorphous kind of images. So this is Biscuit Rebellion. The artwork on this is garbage. Underground musical terrorism. Remember when everybody thought terrorism was scary? The style on this thing though is fucking amazing. This is just fucking feral, darker than darkest fucking black metal you can imagine. I was actually surprised, and maybe I've never heard this before in other Bloodhouse Nord releases, or maybe it's just not there, but it sounds a lot like Darkthrone's Panzerfaust in the like kind of the distance between the harmonies and the guitars. There's you're chugging slowish, more rhythmic kind of black metal riffing, and the harmonies are just kind of more caustic and more kind of angular in their relation to the basic rhythm guitar riffs. And that, man, there was another comparison to this that I was like, holy shit, that's it. And I'm blanking on it right now, but seriously, like Panzerfaust, more like robotic, more ghostly, kind of less, I don't know, I feel like when you hear Panzerfaust, obviously there's like a lot of Celtic Frost and Hellhammer influence, but that sounds like Darkthrone through and through. So to hear that kind of template and that style taken a little bit further and made kind of less familiar and more just eroded and diseased and just grim as all hell, it was really, really fun to listen to. I really, really liked this. I didn't expect to like this as much as I did. So I think what I'm going to do then is go back to the beginning of the Bloodhouse Nord discography. I do have the first album, but I have maybe only played it once or twice. It didn't quite hit its mark when I first got it, and I just need to kind of go back. So I'm kind of making my way slowly through the Bloodhouse Nord discography. I've always been a fan of like Mort is really good. That Work Which Transforms God is pretty good. I have I think was that 777 thing? That's great. The Saturnian Poetry 2 was amazing. The one from last year was fucking amazing. I get really confused with him able to churn out so much fucking material, and then at one point he like branched it off into like 3 different series. That's when I was just like, alright, go fuck yourself, dude. I can't keep track of what you're doing at all. But I actually did manage to kind of keep up with him. Next, I'll just get this out of the way. So I follow Jake Rogers from Caladan Brood on Instagram, and he posts about records. And like, for as much as I love Caladan Brood and Gallo Braid, he focuses so much on this traditional heavy metal stuff, and I'm like, dude, that shit just gets old to me. I know you're also a black metal nerd like I am, so I wish I was getting more of that from you. But he was talking about this Agatus album, and Agatus is a band. I really love the Weaving Fates album, and Dawn of Martyrdom is also really good. But I hadn't checked in with the third full-length, The Eternalist, since this came out on Hell's Headbangers in 2006, I think. So I decided to pull the trigger on it. And I actually fucked up and I ordered one copy of it from one Discog seller, and then the next night I did it again. So some friend of mine is going to get another copy of this. You know, this is okay. I feel like this is the kind of thing that a lot of my older friends would be more into. Like, I don't really get into Manila Road and stuff like that. The traditional speed, heavy metal kind of stuff. I dabble here and there. I had my Omen phase earlier this year. And I love the hell out of Omen, but you know, I just don't need this kind of stuff. I don't crave this kind of stuff. I never really had a foot in this genre to begin with. So I feel like a pedestrian when it gets into the more traditional kind of heavy metal kind of stuff. Now, Agathos is a Greek band, and I was expecting more of that kind of complex, involved depth to the riffing than it was just like kind of just ho-hum, sing-songy kind of trad kind of shit. And yeah, it just kind of didn't match me where I was expecting it to be in a way. So I'll probably revisit this at some point and maybe end up liking it, but yeah, I only spent a couple bucks on it, so it's not a big loss. The biggest loss at this point when I buy a CD that I don't love is that it's gonna take up a spot in that fucking shelf and I'm running out of room. The clock's fucking ticking. This place is gonna fucking blow up and my mailman hates my fucking guts. Also picked up, okay, so this was pretty good. Chthonic Cervix is a band I've kind of been meaning to hop on the train of. So I left this in my car for a couple days last week and the fucking jewel case already melted on me, so you can see it's all like boing. This is a German band. Like, I don't think I've ever heard another band with such a instantly recognizable influence from Voivod. They are taking Voivod riffisms and stylistic influences from Voivod, just absolute worship. Only they aren't playing like a thrash metal kind of thing. They aren't playing the more like modern style kind of weirdo, sort of more rock Voivod-y kind of stuff. This is more of like a black death metal band playing around with a lot of Voivod tropes. And it is really, really fun and entertaining to listen to a band take those ideas and kind of fuck with them and turn them into a more aggressive, just kind of steamrolly kind of style to it. But where it falls short, I think, is like, if you're gonna pay tribute to Voivod so wholeheartedly, I think they deserve for you to try a little bit harder and be a little bit more inventive in the vocal department and maybe even the drumming. If like the guitar work is fucking fantastic, godly. I would even say like godly level of guitar work, but everything else just kind of slags behind in creativity and in depth. And if there were drumming and maybe different kind of vocal styles that were on that level, I think it would be just a fucking absolute flawless fucking masterpiece. These guys haven't released another album since 2015, but this is Aequuiizoiikan. Yeah. So if you're a Voivod fan, definitely get on that Chthonic Cervix. I think they did a split with Howls of Ebb a couple of years ago that I meant to check out. Never got around to it. Okay, also, so I'm doing this vinyl challenge thing on Instagram. It's been really fun. I've got a lot of new followers from it. It's cool. I'm enjoying it more than I ever have in the past. I think I've done like 3 of those over the past like 5 years or so, where like for the whole month you just post a different record for every letter of the alphabet. So I love going through the hashtag and kind of seeing what other people are sharing and just kind of getting like a different perspective. I don't ordinarily I'm not that entertained by my feed looking at other people's records as often as I have been with this hashtag lately, honestly. It seems like people are really kind of digging into their collections and pulling out some kind of weirdo, nastier, kind of less known kind of stuff, and that's where I'm like, ooh, what's that? So I happened upon somebody sharing a vinyl release of Anale, another German band, and these guys play, there we go! These guys play like total Sandmail worship. They take it maybe a little bit more like into a blacker kind of abyssal kind of style to it. It is dark as fuck. It's a little bit more necro sounding. It's a lot more necro sounding than Samael's stuff. I think Samael's first couple of albums are fucking perfect. In fact, I just put a Samael sticker on my car. So Amiel, they also kind of match Samael in that style by having a pretty well-produced records that are like on par with something you would expect to be, you know, paying tribute to the Swiss gods. So they're from Arcane Fire's album is fucking awesome. There's another one they did on Wings of Mercury, I think it's called, but I hadn't heard this one. This was the debut. It's called Necromantic Ritual. So it's a little more stripped down. It's a little bit more just kind of black and white necro, kind of black metal. But it's cool. It was a cheap thing to get, and I decided to get everything by Anael that I didn't already have. Not much to it. I mean, it looks like a fucking total boring thing you would just gloss over, but Anael have always impressed me by writing pretty good songs, playing stuff like Samael, because Samael fucking rules. And yeah, Samael, Anael. Also picked up, okay, so a couple years ago, I found this in a used bin, Worship's Doom. Apparently this is rare as fuck, and I paid like $5 for it. But I kind of forgot about the fact that I didn't own a copy of Last CD Before Doomsday. Some people consider this the genesis of like the more modern era of funeral death metal. I would say it's more astute to go back and say that Skepticism and Disembowelment own a lot of that authorship. But this is no fucking slouch. This has more in common, I think, with the more modern bands like Mournful Congregation, Loss, stuff like that. I think they kind of brought that style or that idea of the more harmonious, just dreadful, sorrowful kind of melodicism to the genre. Whereas before that, it was just like crushing, just empty doom, chunky riffs. I think Keep On Selling Cocaine to Angels is one of the best song titles I've ever heard. But so yeah, I picked this up. This is on Weird Truth. I think this came out in 2000 or 99 or something like that. I was reminded of it because Eric Bauer mentioned in a live stream or a video or something that he had seen them play this album live in its entirety, and I just thought, holy shit, that must have been an insane show. I will slag on this a little bit because I kind of feel like Mournful Congregation does this a little bit better, but again, I may have downloaded this album back when it came out and listened to it a few times back then, but it's been probably 18 years since I heard this, and I haven't really been listening to Funeral Doom lately, and I found myself getting kind of bored with some of the parts with it. But again, we could chalk that up to me being an asshole in the last few weeks, so whatever. Yeah, I hope this is an entertaining video because I don't really have a lot of emphasis on a lot of these albums. Morta Skuld with As Humanity Fades. Just decided I needed to get this other one. I see it a lot in other people's collections. Morta Skuld were an underappreciated death metal band from the US. They were just kind of like overshadowed by your Deicides, your Vital Remains, your Obituaries and stuff like that, but they weren't from, where were they from? I want to say they were from somewhere kind of in the Midwest, maybe the East Coast. Was it Philly? Philly? Not that that's Midwest, I'm wrong. I know, kill me in the comments. But yeah, they just kind of were not quite coming out right at that time, not at the right exact time for them to like blow up. But they did get signed to Peaceville, and this is a reissue on Peaceville with a bonus track. Yeah, it's just killer, run-of-the-mill 90s death metal. What more do you want? So kind of speaking of Voivodian influence, got the new one from Ulthar. This is Providence, a band I was super impressed with their debut a couple years ago. Yeah, angular kind of riffing, unmelodic, kind of dissonant, kind of weird, herky-jerky sort of stuff. Bringing it up a notch on this one, just a lot more dense and just fucking powerful on this one. There were a couple of moments on their last album, like at first on a surface level I was just like, alright, yeah, this is killer on the last album. The more I listened to it, the more I started to find these little kind of pockets and entry points of variations and stuff that reminded me of like Ruins of Beverast or other kind of slower kind of things. And those entry points kind of led me through to like really appreciating or really consuming a lot more of the depth that Ulthar have in their tool belt. I got to that point with their last record, but Providence, I haven't really been listening to it enough to find that sort of depth and appreciation for their style wholly quite yet. I know it's there. I know a lot of you guys are going nuts about that one. Just haven't listened to it enough yet because I've just been getting a shit ton of records in, and I've been listening to the fucking weirdest. Today at work I listened to fucking Skinny Puppy, St. Vincent, Huey Lewis. Love me some fucking Huey Lewis. I won't go on. I won't bore you. I won't discredit myself much further in front of the camera. Last but not least, I picked up Pleiades Dust by Gore Fucking Guts. Marty was kind enough to send me a copy of this, and yeah, looking forward to checking this out. I believe I gave it a quick listen back when it came out, and I can't remember what I thought of it, but I haven't listened to this vinyl copy of it yet. I was a little bummed that John Longstreth didn't stick with these guys. I thought, dude, Colored Sands with John Longstreth on drums, that may be my favorite album that John Longstreth plays on, but they got a new drummer. Colin Marston and Kevin Huffnagel are still in the fold with Luke, but yeah, there you go, Gore Guts. Picked up a copy of it. Oh, also, forgot about this. So I have been writing. I wrote an article. I wrote with words, real words, smart words, good words for my big brain. An article for Arcane Archivist. I am fucking stoked on what this dude is doing. I've had Jesse on one of my live streams. He is the curator, the pontificator, and the progenitor of this unholy mess. Worm on the back. So issue 1 is out now. It is in some distribution, more in Europe I think than in the US, because the US copies sold out in a little over an hour. ArcaneArchivist.com, I believe. Check that out, but you need to get on Instagram and so that you can stay in touch and keep up with what's going on. So what I wrote in this issue, there's the interview with Ulver, Worm, Dohamsgard, nice picture of Cythereal from 1996. I don't want to give all this away, but here's what I wrote, and it's called Side Hustles. I actually titled that hoping that Jesse would come up with a more necro cool title for it or something, but he didn't. So I'll have to remember that when I write whatever I do for issue 2, 3, and going forward. But what this is an article about, I picked 4 musicians who had an incredibly illustrious and productive and diverse discography in a certain window of time. And so I profiled Frode Forsmo of Norway, also Tomi Kalliola from Finland, as well as Fredrik Soderlund from Sweden. He was in Optimus and Parnassus. And lastly, my guy, one of my biggest musical heroes, Kalle Michael Eide. Played in Aura Noir, Dodam's Guard, Satyricon, Bedboin's End, all that good stuff. So pick this up if you can find a copy of it in distros. Follow it on Instagram. It's so satisfying to see this old school age of metal just being worshipped again. I really like what they got going for them. And also, dude from Dryad, my buddy Cal, sent me this new issue of Noxious Ruin zine. So like, we got a black metal zine. Worm is kind of more of a death metal thing, but this is death metal to the fucking core. Ken from Ken's Death Metal Crypt, my buddy, has an article in the back of this featuring lots of underground, just kind of doing what he does with his YouTube channel, just highlighting underground US death metal. There's a shit ton of killer, like, full page artwork in here from all over the place. This is just, sometimes I get a little bored just fucking reading interviews and shit. This is just chock full of fucking blood and guts. It's as much an art zine as it is a death metal fanzine. This thing is just, oh, it's so fucking satisfying. It's like exactly what you would want a well done death metal zine to be. Full color all throughout, nicely bound. I mean, this is like a bazillion points kind of deal. Maybe they're getting this done through that like Amazon printing kind of deal. There's even a fucking crossword puzzle in it. How fucking cool is that? I believe this sold out right away, and like the depth of undergroundedness that this goes into is seriously fucking legit. Got an autopsy poster in there, but like, yeah, this isn't just fucking everything out of Portland rules, new school, fucking puffy sneakers, death metal kind of shit. This seriously is global. This is highlighting scenes and bands from the far reaches of scenes that you don't ordinarily hear about, both in the olden days and now. This thing just revives so much stuff and also kind of brings to the forefront a lot of stuff that's going on and just mashes it all together, covers it in blood. So fucking cool. Thank you, Cal, for this Noxious Ruin zine. I don't know if this is going to be reissued again anytime soon, but I'm sure they'll keep making these. There's a reason it sold out, I think within hours as well. So super appreciative to have a copy of this, and I'm just fucking utterly blown away by the quality of this fucking thing. It is so good. I didn't realize how much I missed zines until I got two of them in the same week, and one of them that I wrote an article for. Jesse even sent me a little letterhead on there. So that's what I got in. I've also got a ton more shit coming in and stuff that I've already gotten in. We're just kind of working through whatever I got. So we'll see you next time. Let me know what you thought of the new camera setup. Is the focus doing it? Kind of thinking maybe I need one of those fucking light deals that's like the sun in my corner or whatever. But yeah, you'll get what you get.